This is Dario Living Man. I'm reading from the Cornell Law School website, 1 U.S. Code, Chapter 3, Code of Laws of United States and Supplements, District of Columbia Code and Supplements. I'll be reading sections 201 through 213. Let's get started. 1 U.S. Code, Section 201, Publication and Distribution of Code of Laws of United States and Supplements and District of Columbia Code and Supplements. In order to avoid duplication and waste, A. Publishing in slip or pamphlet form or in statutes at large. Publication in slip or pamphlet form or in the statutes at large of any of the volumes or publications enumerated in sections 202 and 203 of this title shall, in event of enactment, be dispensed with whenever the Committee on the Judiciary of the House of Representatives so directs the Archivist of the United States. B. Curtailing number of copies published. Curtailment of the number provided by law to be printed and distributed of the volumes or publications enumerated in sections 202 and 203 of this title may be directed by such committee, except that the Director of the Government Publishing Office shall print such numbers as are necessary for depository library distribution and for sale, and C. Dispensing with publication of more than one supplement for each Congress. Such committee may direct that the printing and distribution of any supplement to the Code of Laws of the United States or to the Code of the District of Columbia be dispensed with entirely, except that there shall be printed and distributed for each Congress at least one supplement to each such code containing the legislation of such Congress. July 30th, 1947, Chapter 388, 6.1, Stat 637, September 3rd, 1954, Chapter 1263, Section 1, 6.8, Stat 1226, Public Law 98 through 497, Title 1, Section 107D, October 19th, 1984, 98, Stat 2291, Public Law 113 through 235, Division H, Title 1, Section 1301D, December 16th, 2014, 128, Stat 2537. 1 U.S. Code, Section 202, Preparation and Publication of Codes and Supplements. There shall be prepared and published under the supervision of the Committee on the Judiciary of the House of Representatives. A. Cumulative supplements to Code of Laws of United States for each session of Congress. A supplement for each session of the Congress to the then current edition of the Code of Laws of the United States, cumulatively embracing the legislation of the then current supplement and correcting errors in such edition and supplement. B. Cumulative supplement to District of Columbia Code for each session of Congress. A supplement for each session of the Congress to the then current edition of the Code of the District of Columbia, cumulatively embracing the legislation of the then current supplement and correcting errors in such edition and supplement. C. New editions of codes and supplements. New editions of the Code of Laws of the United States and of the Code of the District of Columbia, correcting errors and incorporating the then current supplement. In the case of each code, new editions shall not be published oftener than once in each 5 years. Copies of each such edition shall be distributed in the same manner as provided in the case of supplements to the code of which it is a new edition. Supplements published after any new edition shall not contain the legislation of supplements published before such new edition. July 30th, 1947, Chapter 388, 6.1, Stat 637. 1 U.S. Code, Section 203, District of Columbia Code, Preparation and Publication, Cumulative Supplements. The Committee on the Judiciary of the House of Representatives is authorized to print bills, to codify, revise, and reenact the general and permanent laws relating to the District of Columbia and cumulative supplements thereto, similar in style, respectively, to the Code of Laws of the United States and supplements thereto, and to so continue until final enactment thereof in both houses of the Congress and of the United States. July 30th, 1947, Chapter 388, 6.1, Stat 638. 1 U.S. Code, Section 204, Codes and Supplements as Evidence of the Laws of the United States and District of Columbia. Citation of Codes and Supplements. In all courts, tribunals, and public offices of the United States, at home or abroad, of the District of Columbia and of each state, territory, or insular possession of the United States. A. United States Code, the matter set forth in the edition of the Code of Laws of the United States, current at any time, shall, together with the then current supplement, if any, establish prima facie the laws of the United States, general and permanent in their nature, in force on the day preceding the commencement of the session following the last session, the legislation of which is included, provided, however, that whenever titles of such code shall have been enacted into positive law, the text thereof shall be legal evidence of the laws therein contained, in all the courts of the United States, the several states, and the territories and insular possessions of the United States. B. District of Columbia Code. The matter set forth in the edition of the Code of the District of Columbia, current at any time, shall, together with the then current supplement, if any, establish prima facie the laws, general and permanent in their nature, relating to or in force in the District of Columbia on the day preceding the commencement of the session following the last session, the legislation of which is included, except such laws as are of application in the District of Columbia by reason of being laws of the United States, general and permanent in their nature. C. District of Columbia Code. Citation. The Code of the District of Columbia may be cited as, quote, DC Code, unquote. D. Supplements to Codes. Citation. Supplements to the Code of Laws of the United States and to the Code of the District of Columbia may be cited, respectively, as, quote, USC Sup, unquote, and, quote, DC Code Sup, unquote, the blank in each case being filled with Roman figures denoting the number of the supplement. E. New edition of codes. Citation. New editions of each of such codes may be cited, respectively, as, quote, USC ed, unquote, and, quote, DC Code ed, unquote, the blank in each case being filled with figures denoting the last year, the legislation of which is included in whole or in part. July 30th, 1947, Chapter 388, 61, Stat 638. 1. U.S. Code, Section 205. Codes and supplement, where printed, form and style, ancillaries. The publications provided for in Sections 202, 203 of this title shall be printed at the Government Publishing Office, and shall be in such form and style and with such ancillaries as may be prescribed by the Committee on the Judiciary of the House of Representatives. The Library of Congress is directed to cooperate with such committee in the preparation of such ancillaries. Such publications shall be furnished with such thumb insets and other devices to distinguish parts, with such facilities for the insertion of additional matter, and with such explanatory and advertising slips, and shall be printed on such paper and bound in such material, as may be prescribed by such committee. July 30th, 1947, Chapter 388, 61, Stat 639, Public Law 113 through 235, Division H, Title 1, Section 1301B, December 16th, 2014, 128, Stat 2537. 1. U.S. Code, Section 206, Bills and Resolutions of Committee on the Judiciary of House of Representatives, Form and Style, Ancillaries, Curtailment of Copies. All bills and resolutions relating to the revision of the laws referred to or reported by the Committee on the Judiciary of the House of Representatives shall be printed in such form and style, and with such ancillaries as such committee may prescribe as being economical and suitable, to so continue until final enactment thereof in both houses of Congress, and such committee may also curtail the number of copies of such bills to be printed in the various parliamentary stages in the House of Representatives. July 30th, 1947, Chapter 388, 61, Stat 639. 1. U.S. Code, Section 207. Copies of acts and resolutions in slip form. Additional number printed for Committee on the Judiciary of House of Representatives. The Director of the Government Publishing Office is directed to print in addition to the number provided by existing law, and as soon as printed, to distribute in such manner as the Committee on the Judiciary of the House of Representatives shall determine, 20 copies in slip form of each public act and joint resolution. July 30th, 1947, Chapter 388, 61, Stat 639, Public Law 113 through 235, Division H, Title 1, Section 1301D, December 16th, 2014, 128, Stat 2537. 1. U.S. Code, Section 208. delegation of function of committee on the judiciary to other agencies, printing and so forth, under direction of joint committee on printing. The functions vested by sections 201, 202, 204 through 207 of this title in the Committee on the Judiciary of the House of Representatives may from time to time be vested in such other agency as the Congress may by concurrent resolution provide, provided that the printing, binding, and distribution of the volumes and publications enumerated in sections 202, 203 of this title shall be done under the direction of the Joint Committee on Printing. July 30th, 1947, Chapter 388, 61, Stat 639. 1 U.S. Code, Section 209, copies of supplements to Code of Laws of United States and of District of Columbia Code and supplements. Conclusive evidence of original. Copies of the Code of Laws relating to the District of Columbia and copies of the supplements provided for by sections 202 and 203 of this title printed at the Government Publishing Office and bearing its imprint shall be conclusive evidence of the original of such code and supplements in the custody of the Administrator of General Services. July 30th, 1947, Chapter 388, 61, Stat 639, September 3rd, 1954, Chapter 1263, Section 2, 68, Stat 1226, Public Law 113 through 235, Division H, Title I, Section 1301B, December 16th, 2014, 128, Stat 2537. 1 U.S. Code, Section 210, distribution of supplements to Code of Laws of United States and of District of Columbia Code and supplements, slip and pamphlet copies. Copies of the Code of Laws relating to the District of Columbia and of the supplements provided for by sections 202, 203 of this title shall be distributed by the Superintendent of Documents in the same manner as bound volumes of the statutes at large, provided that no slip or pamphlet copies of the Code of Laws relating to the District of Columbia and of the supplements provided for by sections 202, 203 of this title need be printed or distributed. July 30th, 1947, Chapter 388, 61, Stat 640. 1 U.S. Code, Section 211, copies to members of Congress. In addition to quotas provided for by Section 210 of this title, there shall be printed, published, and distributed of the Code of Laws relating to the District of Columbia with tables, index, and other ancillaries, suitably bound and with thumb inserts and other convenient devices to distinguish the parts, and of the supplements to both codes as provided for by Sections 202, 203 of this title, 10 copies of each for each member of the Senate and House of Representatives of the Congress, in which the original authorized publication is made, for his use and distribution, and in addition for the Committee on the Judiciary of the House of Representatives and the Committee on the Judiciary of the House of the Senate, a number of bound copies of each equal to 10 times the number of members of such committees, and one bound copy of each for the use of each committee of the Senate and House of Representatives. July 30th, 1947, Chapter 388, 61, Stat 640. 1 U.S. Code, Section 212, additional distribution at each new Congress. In addition, the Superintendent of Documents shall, at the beginning of the first session of each Congress, supply to each Senator and Representative in such Congress, who may in writing apply for the same, one copy each of the Code of Laws of the United States, the Code of Laws relating to the District of Columbia, and the latest supplement to each code, provided that such applicant shall certify in his written application for the same that the volume or volumes for which he applies is intended for his personal use exclusively, and provided further that no senator or representative during his term of service shall receive under this section more than one copy each of the volumes enumerated herein. July 30th, 1947, Chapter 388, 61, Stat 640. 1 U.S. Code, Section 213, appropriation for preparing and editing supplements. For preparation and editing, an annual appropriation of $6,500 is authorized to carry out the purposes of Sections 202 and 203 of this title. July 30th, 1947, Chapter 388, 61, Stat 640.